being in the defense. So my father was in the Air Force. My grandfather was in the army. My great grandfather was in the army.
Oh my
He was
gosh.
in World War One. So my grandfather in World War Two.
डिनर टेबल डिस्कशन जब सब बैठ के खाना खाते हैं रात को तो कॉन्वर्सेशन क्या होती थी क्योंकि सब पायलट बन रहे हैं, सब आर्मी में जा रहे हैं पूरे. हाउ वाज एयर ऑपरेशन सिंदूर फॉर अस?
Yeah, so Operation Sindoor, the very clearly defined objectives. Honorable Prime Minister very clearly said, the terrorists these were the god of terrorists, these terrorist organizations.
So how difficult an operation is it for a pilot to hit these targets?
No, that's the difficulty. When Pakistan started attacking your military targets,
Yeah.
be it army,
Commitment to the nation, to get on a plane, your family doesn't know where you're going, you're alone, you have a mission, you don't know if you're going to come back from it.
a normal weapon you release around 2 kilometers. Now you could release from 10 kilometers.
So your pilot is also safer in that sense.
You're safer.
Yeah.
You're safer from.
Theme in particular that the Yogi government has done, which has bolstered this so much, because if other states are looking to. Hello and welcome to Mic Off with Advaita. And if you're listening to us on Spotify or watching us on YouTube, I'm really grateful for your support and the fact that you've assisted us with this new intervention or initiative wherein we're bringing interesting people who've lived very interesting lives into your own life, into your own living room, and really learning from their experiences and discussing what it means for the nation at large. And one such very unique and inspiring individual is joining us on this episode, and I think you'll already recognize him, but former Air Chief Mr. Bhadauria, I think I've said your rank and completely wrong because you just says Air Chief Bhadauria, 2019 to 2021. That's correct.
Perfect.
But it's such a pleasure and such a privilege to have you with us. And I really want to thank you for your service to our nation in good times and bad. And of course, the fact that you guided our nation's air warriors in the time that you did, and with the glory that you did. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me here.
It's a real
Glad
pleasure.
To be here. Yeah.
And I want to first dive into your life a little bit. Chief, you come from a family of air warriors or pilots or people who have touched the sky on a regular basis, starting with your father. And then, of course, you had an immensely successful career as an air warrior. And now the next generation are also pilots. So tell our viewers a little bit about this family nexus.
Yeah. Firstly, I'm the fourth generation in terms of being in the defense. So my father was in the Air Force. My grandfather was in the army. My great grandfather was in the army.
Oh my
gosh! He was
gosh.
in World War One. So my grandfather in World War Two. My father, all wars starting from 65. And my father was in the Air Force as part of a flying crew.
Flying crew.
Wasn't
That's
a pilot,
right.
but
Yes.
as part of the flying crew, as flight gunner. So of course, I joined the Air Force basically from the Air Force family, and my kids have taken aviation as a career on the civil side.
On the civil side.
Yeah.
And I'm curious, like what was the dinner table discussion? जब सब बैठ के खाना खाते हैं रात को तो कॉन्वर्सेशन क्या होती थी क्योंकि सब पायलट बन रहे हैं, सब आर्मी में जा रहे हैं पूरे परिवार में generations के लिए.
Yeah, it's always defense when I was young, and as I grew old and my kids, it was on the piloting side and everything to do with aviation and that case. So it does become center stage.
और मैं दर्शकों को बता दूं और लिसनर्स को बता दूं कि आपके एक बेटा है और एक बेटी है और बेटी भी पायलट है. तो बेटी ने कब कहा आपको कि वो पायलट बनना चाहती है?
बेटी was very good in studies. She was actually going towards medicine, but वो 12th करके she says, why can't I become a pilot? So I says, your choice. And she just changed. So that's how it happened.
And they're enjoying their
of course.
Next generation is
Absolutely.
enjoying their career.
Yeah.
And आपका भी career has been amazing. You were a test pilot for the Tejas. You've seen it from the ground up, essentially, if I'm not mistaken. Tell us a little bit about that airplane.
Oh, Tejas was, I joined the program much earlier when about 6 sorties were flown. So from 7th sortie onwards, in the initial design and development phase, I was with it for 3 years. So the initial, baby steps of fighter aircraft development. And just remember, this aircraft was designed in many complex technologies which were purely Indian. The fly-by-wire The control of the aircraft is purely Indian. Many computerized systems, many composites, the kind of systems available. So it was a very good professional challenge as a test pilot to test this machine and to improve it and to bring it to the state that it is today. So I was in the initial team, and thereafter I've been associated once more as the head of the National Flight Test Team, and of course in senior ranks as supporting the program wherever it reached. For example, when it got operational and it was to be inducted, I was the commander-in-chief where this first squadron was inducted.
Proud day for you, I'm sure. But also there must have been, basically what a test pilot does is that you're taking a chance, right?
Yeah,
you're risking
there are always risks in any piloting profession, but as a test pilot more so.
Of course, because you don't know.
Because it's a new machine, it's uncharted territory. Even if it is known territory, as flight tests of other aircraft may have flown in that, but for that design and for that aircraft, for that stage of development, it is unknown. There are many unknowns. But that's what you train for.
So what's going on in your mind when you get into that plane? It's a new plane. You're still testing it out.
Actually, you are so busy, you don't think on these lines. If I have to tell you, you are busy really understanding aircraft, and you know thoroughly everything technical. Test pilots are, as much involved in engineering and design as anybody else. And similarly, the engineers who are, design engineers and flight test engineers who are involved in the program are virtually half test pilots, because they look at things both ways. Right. So it's a very well knit team, and you virtually understand everything about the aircraft. So you have no time to think of the risk. You study it. You develop it, you work towards it, and you test it. That's how it happens. So the mitigation and everything is part of the.
Is that something process. Maybe your wife is sitting at home and thinking about, right?
No, I don't think so. They get used to it.
They get used to it?
Sadly. And this is not the discussion ever.
Okay. Well, I have a fear of flying. I was telling you before also. So I would, if I was with somebody who was an Air Force pilot, I would be thinking about it all the time. And, we've just come out of Operation Sindoor, and India performed very well. We were, of course, not able to capture, in my opinion, the narrative sort of battle didn't work for us. But in actual operation terms, how was Operation Sindoor for us?
Yeah, so Operation Sindoor, the very clearly defined objectives. Honorable Prime Minister very clearly said, the terrorists will go after the terrorists and their Akas and whoever is behind that, and wherever they are.
Correct.
And it will be unimaginable punishment. So, the planning that would have gone through to identify the kind of targets and to how to attack, who will attack, and what will happen after that to, work out everything, all options, all reactions that we need to take depending on what happens. So I think overall, the way it was executed was absolutely brilliant. Firstly, on the very first day, hitting all 9 targets, all 9 successful. Pakistani Air Force and Pakistani Army was fully alert. So in that scenario, without even crossing LAC from the forces point of view, for example, the Air Force aircraft, you hit all the targets very precisely. And 2 of the targets which Air Force took out was, for example, Muridki and Bhavalpur, which was unthinkable.
Why is that, sir?
Because, these were the gut of this terrorist organization, the absolute center. And I don't think we ever thought that we would be hitting that directly. It has its own, escalation and implications.
So how difficult an operation is it for a pilot to hit these targets?
No, let's say difficulty level is there because the other side is fully alert. And after the last Balakot attack, they knew we won't hesitate to use air power again. It may not be an action on LAC and some, launch pads. Yeah. So in that scenario, to hit it, and like it has been covered in the media, that when you hit initially the terrorist target, you want to hit only the terrorist target.
Correct.
You don't take out
civilian casualties.
No, and the military targets. You don't touch military targets.
Because that can trigger an escalation.
Yeah, no. Plus, your whole rationale is that you are attacking the terrorist setups. Okay. After that, when Pakistan started attacking your military targets, be it army, be it air force, okay, that is when we responded militarily to their, assets. We started attacking their initially radars. Initially, we still took a lot of calibrated action. So that is the way to
sequence of events.
Yes. And what we finally did on 9th, 10th, in terms of how those 10 to 11 targets were taken, all successful, precise hits, wide kind of targets, geographically very, very wide and deep. The nature of targets, for example, Sargodha, it's one of their heaviest defended bases. We hit it. Okay, Chaklala, the command and control center at Noor Khan base, Jakobabad, Bolari. So these are very, very important targets, and everything was hit, whatever was desired to be hit. Again, the message was clear. They were claiming that their air force can defend anything, and they did this and they did that, etc. Where were they on 9th, 10th? So we hit whatever we wanted, and we terminated at that when they said, let us call it off. So I think overall, if you see Sindoor, brilliant. Starting from the decision to do it, that was a political decision, and the kind of will that was demonstrated.
Prime Minister Modi is incredible that way. Yeah.
Absolutely gutsy decision. The right message to Pakistan, called out the army and ISI's complicity with terrorists, and exposed them to the world, and showed the world that what we will do in such a thing.
And our brave pilots, my God, this sounds
everybody who were involved, they delivered.
How long would an operation like this be when our pilot leaves his base and goes there, strikes, and comes back? Is it minutes we're talking?
No.
Is it half an hour?
Two things. Like what is in the open domain. For the first mission, 9 targets were hit. Normally such attacks are planned. There are many reasons behind it.
Course.
Timing, choice of time, but they were stuck within 22 minutes. They're stuck very close to each other because there are a lot of support actions and there are reasons for that. And it was done successfully. So 22 minutes is only time.
He goes there, strikes, target. And he comes back.
Yeah. But what happens when the pilot goes to the aircraft, prepares this? It's just a process. So you prepare well in time. You go to the aircraft. Your routing is also not straight.
You're getting your focus also.
Your focus, and in this they didn't even cross the LAC. It was all weapons were launched well within our own territory.
Wow!
But that is also complex. You have to ensure that there is as much a surprise as possible. They should not know which target is being struck. So a lot of things goes into planning.
Highest level of secrecy, right? So highest even level, the pilot's family would not know that he is doing this.
Surely, absolutely.
And God forbid something goes wrong, then you find out in the worst way possible.
Yeah. So there's a lot of planning, and pilot's time in cockpit would be anything about hour and a half, 2 hours at times. If he's used air-to-air refueling, if he's gone in depth somewhere and he was hanging around for longer, even longer, and there is a lot of preparation done before that.
He's alone in this mission?
Mostly alone.
Okay.
But at sometimes some twin-seaters are used for operations, in which case there are 2. In some combination, you have a weapon system operator also.
My God, the kind of mental strength you need to be doing this, and your commitment to the nation. To get on a plane, your family doesn't know where you're going, you're alone, you have a mission, you don't know if you're going to come back from it, but you're doing it for your country. And that's what you're going to do.
Yeah, that's what you train for.
Wow.
That's what you train for.
It's incredible.
Yeah, and everybody delivers. You see how good the results are. It's not. It doesn't happen just out of some combination. It happens. It is sheer training, sheer planning, having the right thing, great leadership to have planned out the kind of weapons, the kind of combat capability development that has taken place. The kind of indigenous weapons used, so our industry, has come of age.
Right, that's another thing.
This is also a great achievement.
You are also very actively into the future of war. You think a lot about that. You study it. You speak on it. I'm very curious because for the first time we were hearing about these drones coming in, right? And till now, drones have always been, at least for people like me, things you take photographs with, or Amazon is maybe going to deliver a package using a drone. And suddenly it's like, and maybe the nefarious also, little drugs, arms coming in, a gun or something like that, into the Punjab area. But never realized that this is actually a different kind of attack that we saw in Operation Sindoor.
Yeah, from their side, they used a lot of drones, lot of loitering munition. But drones is just a small part of the story in the sense of changing warfare.
Yeah.
It's a very low cost option, but highly disruptive in many settings, highly disruptive.
And can be destructive?
Not as destructive.
Okay.
Not as destructive. Whereas loitering munitions, the level of destruction it can achieve is much higher. They are both vulnerable. So it depends. You know, there are a lot of components. Very, very low cost for creating confusion, for disruption. It's very good.
Panic also, public,
yeah,
like
public,
like the way I'm reacting.
For public and for this thing.
Yeah.
But operationally, they have an area which in which they fill up gaps. So they use drones, like you mentioned. We took action in terms of counter drone actions to be able to defend against this. The real damage potential is with some loitering munitions, and then it straight away goes to precision weapons, be it air to surface, and there are of course surface to surface missiles which are highly precise.
For laypersons, Chief, what is a precision weapon? What kind of precision weapon are we talking about? Like if they want to attack you and me sitting here in this studio, can they find us?
No, if this location is known to them, a precision weapon is when you attack within an accuracy of 1 to 3 meters. It can be that accurate. So if I know the location of a place and where it is going to happen or where the target is, that precise you can be. That precise.
Wow.
Okay. So 3 meters is one of the figures that is taken quite often. Okay, and something that hits within 3 meters, you can imagine what.
This is what the Americans did with the Iranians.
Of course, they were similar.
This is a precision strike.
This is a precision strike. It's normally in the same region where more than 50% of the bombs.
And that's what we did also in Operation Sindoor.
Of course, we achieved wherever critical targets were there. Very highly precise weapons were used.
Okay.
Some precision weapons, this is the top end precision. There are various kind of errors. They are also into precision category, but it could go up to as much as 8 to 10 meters too. But the real precise ones are of this nature.
1 or 2 meters.
Yeah. I would say go by a figure of 3 or so. 3 odd meters as a CP. That means 50% of the weapons will go within this. So these are the kind of accuracies we are talking of, and that is what gives you the results. So the amount of explosives that you put on the target, and depending on the nature of target and how precisely you put it. It's easy to get precision when you're not in a space which is defended. Here we were in a space which is very well defended, and very competitive in terms of assets, in terms of the kind of jamming environment overall. So very clearly, very, very highly contested space, both in environment and in the space itself. And to achieve this result in this environment, in a highly contested AD environment, is the real victory.
Challenge,
and that's what we achieved.
Wow.
Okay, so that is the capability. It has to be well understood. It's just not a case of you are attacking targets which are not well defended, or they're not. You don't encounter jamming. You don't encounter many other ways of which disrupts your accuracy. For example, GPSs get jammed. So if you're using only GPS for your precision, the weapon won't reach there.
Oh.
So simple things like this.
Right. And in your time which has been decades, really, you've seen war change. In what ways has it changed? From Desert Storm to what we're seeing
largely, very clearly, the kind of firstly used to be all dumb weapons. Precision weapons at one end, that means they are guided.
They're smart.
All others were, just the flight path weapons. That means you release a bomb at a height, it will go a certain distance. So accuracy is, depending upon flight path of the aircraft and the weapon, you work out. reasonably accurate, but not smart, not guided. Okay. Now came to guided weapons, LGBs, laser
Which
guided.
decade are we talking about? when we moved
This
into
is let's say going on to 80s, LGB had started.
Okay.
So 90s LGB, but we got our LGBs little later.
Uh-huh.
Their LGBs gave you a standoff distance of, let's say, you could hit a target from about 10 kilometers.
For our viewers and listeners,
Yeah.
LGB is?
Laser guided bomb. Laser guided bomb. So you could attack a target from 10 meters, 10 kilometers, sorry. A normal weapon you release around 2 kilometers, a bomb. Now you could release from 10 kilometers.
So your pilot is also safer in that sense.
You're safer. You're safer from defenses. You're safer from shoulder-fired missiles. The 10 kilometer became 40 to 50 in 2 decades back.
2 decades back.
Yeah, when Balakot happened, this was 50 to 100 kilometers.
Wow.
Between Balakot and now, which is 6 years in our area, in our Air Force, we have moved from 100 kilometer to 450 kilometers.
Oh my God,
Today
that's
we can
incredible.
hit at 450 kilometers.
And this we've developed.
Not all weapons. For example, BrahMos, I will tell you.
We've developed this on our own.
BrahMos is our own development,
Correct.
which is maximum 450. And there are other weapons which are part of some aircraft we bought, some weapons we bought from outside, and some other indigenous weapons. Their ranges from anywhere from 50 to 100, some are 200, some are 250, some are 350. So we have a whole lot of weapons in this range.
But in the last 6 years, we've really jumped, right? For going up 450 kilometers.
Our indigenous capability in terms of manufacturing capability has jumped in the last 10 years. Whole focus brought in by this government towards Make in India, Atmanirbharta, that has started to show results. Okay,
so how is this shaking up the bigger powers, so to speak?
It is shaking up. You can see some of the results of the shake-up and the angst and
because this is big money, right?
It's not only money. It is concerns of a new power emerging. I would say the next decade is ours. The next century is ours.
Because we have the manpower, plus we have the tech.
Yeah.
And that's those two things very rarely go together.
We don't have the complete tech.
We have some of it.
So we are well on the trajectory. If we continue like this, we should develop tech much faster than we are.
I think so.
We should look at the next generation tech, and therefore this next 2 to 3 decades are very, very essential. And this focus on Atmanirbharta, that is where real development. And what Prime Minister has said now on Sudarshan Chakra, it will change the game.
Can you explain that a little bit for our viewers?
Yeah, Sudarshan Chakra will capture everything to do with an entire sensor network. That means you will pick up whatever you need to pick up in terms of capability, situational awareness. All your radars will be linked, all your sensors from space and aircraft. So you will know exactly what is happening in the air. You will know what is happening on the ground there.
Fantastic.
You should be able to defend against any missile that is coming at you, or any weapon, any aircraft. Okay, you should be able to attack that aircraft or a missile, and you should be able to attack any targets. So this captures the real ability to defend.
And what about our sea,
it's
our
an
Indian Ocean?
Let's say you heard of Iron Dome.
Yes, of course.
The Golden Dome
yes.
on the US side. So this is our... And the important part is it will be completely indigenous. So we have an integrated air command control center now. We have a network. The network is the most important part of any combat.
And when will this be active? When will
all this will now expand and grow towards capability developed on Sudarshan Chakra. We already have some elements.
Okay.
Some more very critical elements need to be added, networked. All services capability integrated. And that will lead to a very, very integrated setup in the future.
And of course,
we already have the core areas in this. In many core areas, we already have some.
And it's not part of public knowledge also how much of it we have together, right? Because that would.
Yeah, not complete public knowledge.
Yeah.
Of course, but we have some elements with which result you saw. Important thing is a lot of those elements on the air defense side. For example, our network today. The Air Force network is totally indigenous. Our radars today are mostly indigenous. All new development induction radars are indigenous.
And why is this important? Of course, is the fact that we don't need to buy expensive equipment and planes and things like that from foreigners or from foreign countries. But why is that so important for us, even in terms of security and secrecy and all of those kind of
secrecy,
things.
your own capability, and the technology and the requirements of warfare are changing very rapidly. So when a change happens, you will either add capability or add better sensors or add better weapons. So when you have a structure and you keep adding, you will need to change software, you will need to integrate new things. So if you have control on the basic tech and everything is yours, you do it very fast and you do it at a very lower cost.
Right.
And if this whole system is imported, the same thing you will do in 3 to 4 times the time frame and maybe 10 times the cost.
So you think are we upsetting the Americans with this sort of?
No, we are upsetting the whole world and Americans.
Right, in particular.
Yeah. I would say not from only defense point of view, but it just that we are developing into
An
our
independent
own,
power,
as a
superpower.
power,
Yeah.
as somebody who can look after our own defenses, as a military industrial complex, and we're not threatening anybody. It is just
For our own
it is just
defense.
that, yeah, of
For our
course.
own safety. And this, it's also been a very phased out development of our own independent ability to create our own military equipment and things of that nature. For example, 2018-19 UP got its defense corridor. I think Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath had only been in office maybe a year at best. And since then, there's been something like 30,000 crores nearly of contracts that have come in. Government body, private operators all setting up shop. You're from Uttar Pradesh as well, from the Agra district. What's been happening there? Because UP is kind of surging in this.
Yeah. As part of the, Make in India, Atmanirbhar drive.
Correct.
Couple of years back, good about, I think almost now 8-9 years back, defense corridors were thought of. So the first two that came up were in Tamil Nadu and UP.
Right.
Okay. As part of UP corridor is what you are talking
Yes,
of. In
the
the
6
defense
nodes.
corridor, there were 6 nodes that UP government decided.
Right.
And I think CM had given these clearances for where it should happen. And it is in Lucknow, Agra,
Jhansi.
Kanpur, Jhansi, Chitrakoot and Aligarh.
Correct.
Okay. So, in fact, I was associated in the beginning in many aspects of it. It has come up very well, firstly. The kind of, support provided by state and the kind of incentives provided and the kind of, infrastructure and other support that was decided that the state will provide is worked out very well. I think 60 plus industries have already been allocated.
Wow.
Place, etc. And if I'm not mistaken, about 9 or 10 have gone into production.
Already.
So the production runs have started. A lot of any warfighting potential depends a lot on ammunition, explosive. These are essentials of any developments. And in UP in particular, it is turning into a hub. For example, Jhansi node was a little away from populated areas, but that became a blessing in disguise because now a lot of explosives industry is getting set up there. Ammunition is getting set up there, is also in Kanpur. BrahMos has gone in for Lucknow. So BrahMos new generation missile will be, and you know what BrahMos
That's a
capability
feather
is.
in our cap, the BrahMos.
Okay, and the new generation would get developed there and made there. So overall, in the next decade, the impact it will have in giving all this capability or supplying these to the defense forces is when it will start showing. So overall, I think this corridors and all the concept has done well. And now I hear there are many other states who are also taking up formation of such defense corridors. So it's great, and UP is doing very well.
Yes, and I think it's also so far generated 30,000 jobs, and it's on the way to generating maybe 50,000 jobs, if not more. So in terms of for the local population, employment, and it's sad to say this, but the defense industry will never go out of business in our world. So this is consistent, steady employment for people.
Yeah, it should be seen as employment and capability development even on the manpower side. There are a lot of engineering colleges. There are a lot of other routes for skill development. A lot of skill development initiatives have been taken there. So all that will start flowing into this industry. And it's not only these industries that are set up now. In support of them, many SMEs will come up, many more, the ecosystem will develop. So the overall thrust and energy for developing an industry around it would only keep increasing with time. So whatever, suppose somebody gets a 10,000 crore order, to really fulfill that order, that industry will outsource some bit of it. So as it happens in all places, this industry will grow sideways much more. So the corridors will only keep growing. Not only the corridor portion, but the industry in corridor will get supporting industry around.
Of course.
Okay.
Because people will move there.
Next to them or within the state or maybe even outside the state.
Right.
So in times to come, the real impact would be visible.
Right.
And that will be huge. That will be huge.
Why do you think UP has sort of taken off as far as the defense corridor is concerned? Why has it become so big there? You don't really hear that much about Tamil Nadu doing it, although it was.
Tamil Nadu,
they must be doing things.
Tamil Nadu had a little different format, but in their own way they're doing well.
Fine.
They're doing well. They have also allocated there are a lot of industries. In South, the defense industry was well set much earlier because Bangalore being the hub, Hyderabad, a lot of industry was already there.
Yes.
Tamil Nadu, some industrial base was already there. There was an industrial base on the normal automotive side, other side, which started.
Correct. Automotive is very big. Yes, that's true.
UP, there was no defense industry, so to say, but don't forget there was HAL. There's HAL in Kanpur, there's HAL in Lucknow. So DRDO and DPSU's base was there in UP. So there was a core presence.
There was a core competency, but not necessarily.
But on the industrial side, on the private sector side, there was virtually zero. And that is changing.
So that means when Yogi Adityanath actually got this going, he was pretty much starting from ground zero, right?
On the defense, on the private side. Yeah.
So it's incredible.
And you asked why it has, it is becoming so successful because of the kind of support that the state government has provided. Everything's happened rapidly, and there are huge challenges to acquire land and ensure it is encumbrance free and ensure it is. Everything happens, and this happened in good time. So overall, I think a good experiment, and overall, these two states have kind of drawn the basic guidelines of how defense corridors get set up, how they move, and I think they will provide the basic template for the other states to follow wherever such things come up.
No, I think in less than 10 years, if this was approved in 2018. Then we're looking at roughly about a 7-year period, and it's already generated 30,000 jobs in UP, I'm speaking about. And attracted contracts, something like 28,000 odd crores, plus got big private manufacturers coming into Uttar Pradesh, which was frankly unheard of in the past because of the law and order situation. I think it's incredible. It's really, really interesting how this is happening. Any scheme in particular that the Yogi government has done which has bolstered this so much? Because if other states are looking to
on the corridor, if you're asking, I think it is essentially the kind of support provided. It's a very proactive support system.
So it's the culture really, in the sense that
change,
it's how...
I won't say the previous cultures in the UP, but it is the cultural changes that were brought in and everything that...
so it's just become a little easier to enter.
Easier, not little
much easier.
Much easier, and it's focused, it's developed. And
so you must be interacting with a lot of these people. What are they saying?
That time I did interact.
No, now, like post-retirement. Yes, on the industrial side, what is their experience like?
From the industry side, of course, it's the entire defense industry is complex. The lead times are high. So on the industry side, there's still some expectation that there will be a little more support provided from the.
But there's always expectations,
which is only understandable. And to be fair, it's easy to step into defense industry, but to really start getting orders and really get into production and repeat orders, it is time consuming, complex. It's a very high capex industry, but things are changing fast, and that's a good sign.
And there's an urgency. If you look at around the world,
there's
what's
urgency
happening
within, but more importantly, times are changing where we are going to export a fair amount.
I think our BrahMos have already people are lining up for
BrahMos, ammunition all across. So that is what has to be kept in focus from the industry side. I'm saying purely from the industry perspective. Of course, now we need to start looking at the future kind of industry that coming, be it in the space side, be it on cyber side, in all this.
That's my last question to you.
Yeah.
The future of warfare, because people like me who sit at home and watch YouTube videos and talk to people with our half-baked knowledge, I have to admit, we think that we're heading towards a World War III. We're convinced of it, and there are these conflicts erupting everywhere. Now, from your trained, experienced perspective, are we those of us who are feeling this way just being a little too paranoid, or are we already in the midst of it? But it's just a different kind of war. It's tariffs and things like that as opposed to bombs.
I don't know. I think people use different definitions of World War III. Some people say it's already going on.
Yes, I know it's like terrible. But there's an insecurity.
I don't think so. What is going on is, the nature of conflict and the reasons for conflict, 3-4 that are going on are totally, different and we know what they are. So
region specific.
This Russia-Ukraine, the reasons are different. Middle East, what happened is different. Israel's what happened with Iran. So there are different reasons, but I think there is important to understand that from Indian perspective, the road that we have started on towards becoming Atmanirbhar, that is the crux. And how important it is because you see these conflicts and you realize this is what we should have done much earlier. And this is what we have to, really now step up the trajectory. So the importance of defense or importance of combat capability and ability to produce yourself depend on your own, combat
resources,
equipment, own resources, and have the ability of sustaining a long conflict if required. Wow. Have the ability of entire critical equipment being sourced from you. Have the ability of at least for example, the ammunition, the repeat requirements of, high precision weapons, the longer range weapons, sensor development from your own industry. So that is what is important. That's what we have to remember.
So you're not staying up at night thinking, World War III is coming up?
No, not at all.
Oh, that's good to hear.
I think it is important to concentrate. The lesson is that we have to develop our industry. We have to develop our capability. We have to enable our own Indian industry, and that means that DPSUs, DRDO labs, our private sector need to work together and really in a very very synergistic manner and produce the results. And all our orders from the services side, etc., I would say should flow into them, which is happening. You asked something about future of warfare.
Yes.
I think we need to go rapidly towards what's happening in space side. The government has opened the space sector to the private so fast. So it's a very far-sighted decision.
Okay.
So a lot of development taking in place in space technology development that needs to come into defense. Our ability for surveillance capability, ISR we call it. That means we should be able to view everything that 24/7. So across our borders, there should be a 24/7 coverage of what is happening, be it electro-optical, be it on the IR side, be it on synthetic aperture radar. And so any change, anything, anytime. So one is knowledge of what is happening, situational awareness, not only optically but electronically, everything. And the next is, on the space, on cyber security, on quantum, technology is changing fast. AI, the way it is coming in. So I would say these are the new age technologies that we have to step up and that we aren't doing as much. It has started. It's largely government supported and government pushed, but we need to speed up that. I would expect that private sector needs to step in even more robustly into this also, AI in particular. So this will change. Then our networks need to become futuristic. Our ability to communicate, be it voice, be it data, be it information,
be it underwater, on the mountain,
absolutely,
top,
all multi-domain. Then next is your ability to develop ourselves next generation of sensors. That is something that we should do. And then, of course, we have to just keep increasing range of weapons, the precision of weapons, the survivability of weapons, the new platforms that come up, the new kind of loitering munitions, the new kind of stealth aircraft for the Air Force, manned and unmanned aircraft. On unmanned combat aircraft, there is huge development. On unmanned undersea, there are going to be huge developments. Robotics and unmanned for the army, developments are going to be in multiple.
In the tanks and the cavalry sort of
everything.
thing, yeah.
There'll be new kind of robotic vehicles and robotic capabilities. Wow. So this is the area that we should not lose sight. And I think that is, once you have the ecosystem going, there'll be many people from those startups and SMEs and who will start working on this and give us many options as we go along.
Fascinating. I've never found weapons as interesting as I found them with you discussing them.
Yeah.
And because we're sort of a happy show, for the most part, I have to ask you one final question.
Yeah.
There have been a lot of reports of pilots like yourself seeing unidentified flying objects in the air. Some say it's aliens. Some say it's, surveillance flights. In America, there have been all these whistleblowers who've been coming out and saying that we are not alone. And pilots are the ones who actually see them. Have you personally encountered anything like this?
Nothing.
Oh, no.
And in my entire service career, I don't know if anybody was encountered this. So in our airspace, I haven't heard a story or this thing. There have been some things which were not identified, for which reason was identified later. But nothing on UFOs in our space for sure.
Maybe they're not that interested in us. Maybe right now they're interested in Americans.
I wouldn't know that. I don't think so.
Okay. So
if anybody from outer space or some other guy, universe is interested, I think they'll come to India first.
I think so too. And if you've not seen them in your many, many thousands of hours of flying at crazy altitudes, then we probably are still alone. But also remember, we're talking to the former Air Chief of India, so there are a lot of things he can't tell us also. No, I think those who want to stick with the conspiracy theories will continue. But it's good to hear from you that you've never experienced something like this.
No.
Okay.
And it hasn't happened on our skies. You can be sure of that.
No, because you have these weird things.
I don't know historically, because in some of our history and some of the things, there are some pictures which can only be kind of understood if it was aliens. Some of the drawings, but in
modern day,
we haven't.
But then there also this possibility, because it's such a secret kind of development of weapons, and you have to test them.
Yeah, weapons. There are a lot. I haven't.
We may not know. They may be created by us, but we just don't know it's actually us.
Yeah, but
and it's easier to say aliens than to say we have weapons that can do the kind of things some of these alleged ships do in the air. But thank you so much for being here. Thank you for making this so interesting. And it's been a real pleasure to speak with you. And we really look forward to chatting with you some more on Mic Off. And thank you, viewers, for listening. If you enjoyed this conversation and want to hear more, then please do like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.